question will go to John Antoni.
Hey, Coach, give us an update on Oklahoma, what you see from them that's maybe different than the first time you played them.
They're not much different, John. I mean, they run what they run. They run really good stuff, and they're very good at it. And they've got a bunch of guys. They put a bunch of guys on the floor that can make shots.
Going back to the first game, was that maybe the worst effort your guys gave this year? I know you were really disappointed with the way you played in that game.
I can't imagine how it could be any worse than what it was.
Yeah. Since then, effort has been okay in your eyes for the most part.
You know, I thought at least the last couple. I mean, I thought we played really hard. We're just not. We're not as good defensively as what we've been in the past. We don't have a rim protector like we had before. I mean, we kind of got spoiled with the guys that we had protecting the rim.
Some of the tweaks you made to help your offense, does that maybe, is there a give and take there? Is that some showing up on defense a little bit for you? Because offensively, the last couple of games, you perform really well.
Well, I mean, we're trying to play the best guys we have.
Okay.
You know, we've basically played our post guys just to, you know, whoever was playing the best at that particular time. Like committee, how's that?
Yeah.
Next question comes from Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach. The last 4 games, teams have shot it pretty well against West Virginia. I think all 4 are like above 50. Oklahoma in the first meeting shot the ball pretty well, and statistically, I think they're second in the league in shooting. So what are the major concerns there as far as what kind of runs Oklahoma can get on, and what's been the major cause of, you know, teams, you know, shooting the ball well here as of late against West Virginia?
Where do you want me to start? We don't guard the rim the way we're accustomed to guarding the rim. I mean, if you think back at the bigs that we've had standing in front of the rim, very difficult for anybody to get anything easy. And what they didn't block, they changed. We're not near as good on the ball defenders as what we've been. We don't have the size and the strength on the perimeter that we had before. You know, I think, you know, we got hit with, you know, the COVID thing. And, you know, when you sit there and you have 2 guys that are first team all league guys and 2 guys that probably should have been All-Americans, and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting to see if they're going to come back or not. Because certainly you don't want to give their scholarship away.
Right.
You wouldn't want to give either Deuce or Derek's scholarship away, particularly in light of the fact that, you know, they just said they want to get a better idea of where they're going to go. Okay, I understand that. I just think it's too late. I just think I think they need to change the rule to where guys, because guys pretty much know. I mean, we have to wait so long that what's available may not be what you need.
The other kind of weird thing, and this kind of goes back to the way you guys have played over the last few years as well. And a lot of these games, you guys are getting more shots, more possessions, which is something, you know, you've worked for in the past. It's really still even kind of holding true here. How much does that help, you know, keep you guys in games, and how much of that, you know, can you continue to build on, you know, moving forward as far as getting those extra possessions to the point where it's, you know, noticeable in the box score after the game, you guys are getting a lot more shots than some of these teams?
Well, I'm sure that's true. What's also true is they're making a lot more.
Well, yeah, that's the other flip side. Yeah.
Flip side of it is they're making a lot more. We're giving up the highest field goal percentage in the country at the high major level. That's, I mean, that kind of is the tale of everything. You can't continue to let people shoot 60%.
Our next question, Coach, comes from Kevin Kinder.
So Coach, going back to your previous issue on changing the deadline for when somebody has to declare, obviously that's probably not going to change very quickly. So for the next year or two, do you have to impose your own sort of deadline so that you can avoid this problem again? And like you said, have a better, selection or chance at getting replacement players?
So what do? I tell them, you don't have a scholarship, you can't come back. If you decide that you maybe want to come back, I mean, everybody would say, why did you do that? Everyone would, particularly you guys. Why didn't you wait? It puts all of us in a very difficult situation. It's a lot of times our guys don't have agents, the ones that are contemplating whether they're coming back or not. And so who do you go to? What are they, it's just it's way too long. It's way too long. I mean, they deep down and know what they're going to do.
And do you get a sense that maybe players, not just necessarily yours, but any from this year, from next year, look at and learn at experiences of guys from last year? Obviously, Deuce's decision came out really well, but others have not in the past. Do they pay any attention to that or what's happened in the recent past?
No, none.
We'll go to Bob Hertzel.
Yeah, Bob, the more you look at the way basketball or college sports is today, why would you recruit a freshman? I mean, why not just, it's much easier to get out of being at a school than getting into it.
Yeah. Why would you recruit a freshman? I think our freshmen that we have in our program right now are going to be really good players. And I think you can see that they're starting to get some playing time. We've got at least two of the four, probably all four, that are going to see significant minutes next year. I mean, like Taz Sherman minutes and so forth. So, I guess, Bob, I think it's better for college basketball. I think it's better for our fan base. I don't know that our fan base would relate to us flipping the roster year by year. And it's important to me that our team does represent West Virginia and the people of West Virginia.
You can't really expect to see them 3-4 years from now, though. Expect. I mean, if they're that good.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they're not going to. Okay, they're good enough. I mean, whoever thought? Listen, no one recruited Deuce McBride. No one.
Right.
And so who would ever expect that Deuce is going to leave after his sophomore year? Nobody. Not his mom and dad. Nobody. So you don't have them 4, you have them 3. It's a heck of a lot easier when you've got some veteran guys that that can know what you want done at both ends of the floor. I mean, that was our strength for how many years. We had guys that knew what they were doing, they're good, that we could go from man to man to 1-3-1. We could play point drop. We could run a myriad of different offensive sets because they knew what they were doing. Now we got guys out there now running into each other.
You do. Thanks.
We'll go back to Justin Jackson.
Coach, what have you seen in scouting Groves, the older one, the center, power forward, I guess? He obviously is kind of a hybrid, can shoot from the outside and play inside. I'm guessing maybe that's kind of what you would like to see Cottrell kind of be or develop into in the years to come. But what do you see with Groves now, and how much of a scouting problem is he for you guys?
Well, he's a very skilled 6'11" guy. He can shoot it. He can pass it. He can dribble it when need be, and he's got a bunch of versatility in that he can play with his back to the basket, or he can play facing the basket. There's not a whole lot that he can't do, and he's a very good rebounder on top of that.
Any additional questions for Coach Huggins? Okay, Coach, we have one here from Greg Carey.
Yep. Bob, what's Keddy's status for tomorrow, and how much has his lack of time over these last two games kind of hurt you on defense?
Well, it hurts us because he's the guy who can put pressure at the point of their offense. And so from that standpoint, it really hurts us. I don't know. I mean, he took a heck of a blow now. I mean, that wasn't a love tap. And I don't know. I don't know. He's got the hip problems, of which he got knocked down pretty hard, and then this is the second time he's gotten cracked in the head. I don't know. I mean, I leave all that up to our medical staff. But, fortunate. It's unfortunate that things like that happen.
Next question goes to Mike Kazaza.
Hey Bob, how's it going?
Okay, Mike.
Good. I'm gonna try to get this out right. I had to stumble through it for a second, but when you get guys in the portal, and you talked about how the level is different from there to here, and also maybe they're not quite the rim protectors or the rebounders that you thought. And you could probably apply this to different things. Maybe you get guys who are supposed to be really good ball handlers or shooters, and it's just different. But I wonder if you have to like reassess and almost like re-recruit or recruit again, or rearrange your recruiting plans based on kind of a guessing game or an uncertainty when you think, and this is probably a lot of coaches think you have fixes, but you just don't know until you have them there. And then you think you may have something plugged in and it's not quite what you thought. You kind of have to go back and try again or try differently next year. And just how complicated is that versus what it was maybe not too long ago?
Well, I think it's probably similar to, do you take a kid from a high school that has 70 some kids in the high school, and the competition that they play, how do you sort out how good they're going to be when they come and start facing guys that virtually everybody at this level has been first team All-State, and the majority of them at big schools. It's kind of like, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, by any means, because he's been good for us. He's a good kid. But Carrington is not Derek Culver. He's not Sagaba Kanante. He's not Elijah Macon. You know, he's just his body type, but he was the leading shot blocker in the country. And he's you know, he's blocked shots here for us, but not to the extent that those other guys did. You know, those other guys were, I mean, Elijah was what, 240? Derek was 260. Sags was probably 240. Hard to move those guys.
Has it caused some maybe improvisation this year? Like if you thought perhaps these guys would be better shot blockers or rebounders, and then you can only ask them to do so much, you kind of have to step back and do something a little bit different that maybe you hadn't initially planned. And that could be offense, defense, whatever, not just one guy.
Well, I mean, Mike, if you watched the game tape that we watched on Poly, on DC, they're blocking shots like crazy. You know, they're changing shots, and actually they're can step out and guard some perimeter guys. That was at that level. You know, that wasn't at this level. We're playing at the highest level in college basketball in the toughest conference in the country, with some guys who came up 3 levels. You know, we're trying to get, you know, the best out of them, and I think they're trying to give us their best. And you guys know, man, I mean, let's tell the truth. This university has really done well with transfers, but they were basically transfers from other colleges, other Division I colleges. They weren't, and some of the better leagues in America.
We have time for one more question, and it goes to John and Tony.
Yeah, just real quick for me. What has to go right for you to beat Oklahoma on Tuesday night?
We got to make shots. John, we're less than an inch away from beating Texas. If that ball goes an inch further, it goes in. He got a good shot. And he was the guy who was making shots. Why would you not go to him? Particularly in light of the fact we don't have a post guy. So I thought he gave us the best chance to win, and was less than an inch away from doing that.
This team you're playing has turned the ball over a little bit this year, and they turned it over in the game that you lost here in the Coliseum. Is that a formula too, that maybe turn them over a little bit and try to get some transition opportunities?
Oh, anytime you can turn people over, it's a great opportunity, particularly live ball turnovers.
Yeah.
If we can get some live ball turnovers, that certainly would help our cause.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Coach, I know you got practice. Safe travels to Oklahoma. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.